Hello guys, Roberto was here, the BJJ engineer, and today I'm going to talk to you about a subject that is very important for all athletes in any sports, but with a little tone for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay? Here's the subject. Dealing with defeat, guys, okay? Dealing with defeat as a competitor in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or an athlete. Okay, so defeat comes to a lot of students of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in many ways. It's an obstacle that presents itself a little bit different. You can find it inside the room where they train out, with their training partners. Situations can be, you know, they can never surpass their training partners, or they keep getting stomped, you know, and they don't never seem to get one step ahead of their partners, and they're always losing and constantly losing on the mat. Sometimes it can happen that they, at one point, the opposite, you know, you're better than some of your peers, and then your peers surpass you, and it keeps happening, and new people come into the school and they surpass you right away. Sometimes it happens when you go to competitions, you know, you lose in tournaments, or you were used to be really good in tournaments, and all of a sudden you got defeated. You have a competitor, a rivalry, that it goes on and on and on, and there's many situations like that. Okay, today what I'm going to do very quickly, I'm going to outline some of the things that have worked for me, and I think you should consider when dealing with defeat, and just try to rewire our brains a little bit about defeat. Okay, the first thing I want to mention, okay, about defeat, okay, is a famous book, okay, that everybody should read called Think and Grow Rich, by Napoleon Hill. Okay? This book is the law of success. It's the science behind why people become successful. It's more with a tone of about making money, but it really can be applied to sports and anything you can think about. Because what Napoleon Hill did, he went for 20 years researching what made some of the most wealthy individuals of his time successful. He studied, and he kind of, you know, did a very good study of it, and he outlines this in the book Think and Grow Rich. One of the things that Napoleon Hill mentions in the book, which is very important you take in, is that when we fail, okay, when we experience defeat or failure, it's just a process in which we learn not to do things. It's the same process that helps a baby learn to walk, where every time he falls, you know, he's learning how to balance better. Okay, so well, we need to understand that every time that we lose against an opponent, or every time we have it's not something necessarily bad. It's just we're learning how not to do things. Some people take them longer, some people take them better. But as long as we're always moving in the up direction, okay? So defeat or failure equals learning how not to do things. Okay, and this is important. Okay, once you get this down, you're going to look towards defeat and failure in a completely different tone. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk to you about is the perfect mindset that I want you to have for dealing with failure. I call it the good day, bad day attitude. Okay, good day, bad day attitude says the following: have a good day, I'm okay. Have a bad day, I'm okay. Understand? So the attitude is, you shouldn't be, oh, I had a great day, overwhelmed, oh, or I had a good day, you know, like, oh, depressed. You always are okay, because we're here working towards our short-term goals, and our mid-term goals are trying to achieve long-term goals. Okay, so let's make sure you also apply good day, comma, bad day attitude equals always okay. These are things that you have to deal, that you have to tell yourself. Okay, things that you definitely need to mention to yourself. The next concept comes from a famous wrestling great and coach called John Smith. And documentary, once that I heard a long time ago, don't quote me on it, but I don't recall the name of the documentary. John Smith says the following: defeat sometimes, a lot of times, helps fuel individuals to go on to achieve greater things. Okay, it's kind of like the saying, what easy comes, easy goes. If you're experiencing a lot of defeat, okay, you're learning how to be able to teach others in your position one day. That's the beauty of it. Okay, if somebody's a very talented athlete, sometimes they don't become the better teacher, or because they cannot pass the information because it came to each of them. They don't even need to study all the mechanics behind the move. Sometimes defeat not only allows you to learn moves better and eventually comprehend them better than a more talented athlete, also allows you to pass them on. But if you turn it into a motivational force, it can also become something that says, you know what, man, I'm going to push harder, I'm going to work harder. And you just cannot be satisfied with defeat. Okay, don't be like, oh, maybe listen, most people are born with 2 hands, 2 legs, and a head. Okay, in another, maybe in another video I'll talk to you about what makes people talented, what gives them talented. People think they're God-given gifts. It's not that, it's a question of resources and, the opportunities available to you. So, as far as you know, you have everything that is required, okay? 2 legs, 2 hands, brain, think, use, work hard, work on your body, keep moving up, okay? So remember that. Third concept. Defeat motivates and can motivate and fuel athletes to achieve bigger goals. Okay, so there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are 4 very good tips. Okay, 4 very good tips. So now let's look at some quick scenarios and apply these tips to them. Okay. Oh, sorry. There's one more tip, and this is very important. Okay, be sincere with yourself. So, which means, in reality, means no more excuses. Okay? A lot of people, when they have to account for their shortcomings and the reason they're not accomplishing things, they are not sincere with themselves. They want to blame others, okay? They want to blame their circumstances, instead of saying, well, the reason I didn't become world champion, the reason my fellow teammates surpassed me is because the coach has a preference towards the person, or because such and such, and they come up with the most illogical excuses just to not look at themselves in the mirror and accept that the reason for their shortcomings is their lack of focus and determination. Okay, you have to be sincere with yourself. It's kind of like being an alcoholic. Like you probably heard in the movies and stuff that the first step is to admit you're an alcoholic. Well, as an athlete, the first step to admit to success is to admit you're not working hard enough yet, or really being sincere and clear about why you're not achieving certain goals. Okay, so be sincere with yourself. Let's quickly look at some of the scenarios. Okay. Scenario number 1. You're a bright white belt, you get stumped at the school. Okay? Guys are coming in, everybody's beating. Well, guess what? Okay? Even to put a beating on somebody, it takes energy. If you can take a beating well, and you keep coming after this person, and you turn that defeat into motivation, guess what? You're building your mind. So when you're getting defeated in the mat and somebody's just choking you and choking, ask for more. Ask them, please keep coming. Keep coming after me, because you're training your mind and you're becoming more mentally tough than the hammer. The nail, okay, becomes more mentally tough than the hammer that is used all the time. Eventually the nail can turn eventually to a hammer, but because it has that mental toughness, now the hammer, who's been enjoying all the beatings that he has given to the nail, has to question himself or herself and be like, am I tough enough? And that's how the cycle begins. Remember, when you're getting beat down and people are beating you and stuff like that in Jiu-Jitsu, it's part of the process. Nothing to feel bad about. You're working on your mental toughness, and remember that one day when you become the hammer, that's going to be taken care of. Do not tap early. Fight every submission. Okay? This is my biggest advice for white belts are getting stopped. Okay? Then you have the situation, blue belt or upper belt surpassed by white belt or trim teammate. This usually happens because at one point or another, you had a student that was you know, talented and they become good at jiu-jitsu and or they work hard. But you know, what got you there, what got you to a certain point sometimes doesn't take you to the next point. And if jiu-jitsu evolves and you're like with the evolution and you're falling behind, you're either climbing up the mountains or you're rolling back down. Okay, so what happens here is this guy eventually, you know, became better than he was one of the best students at school. This white belt comes in, he's super motivated, and he's beating the white belt. And then just wasn't mentioned, the white belt says, you know what, turns out determination, he listens to the coach, he trains 3 times a day, 4 times a day, and eventually surpasses the blue belt. Now the blue belt is becoming, who was the hammer, needs to look at the mirror and say, why am I not? What's happening that this person surpassed me? Sometimes it's very difficult because it requires for you to put your ego aside and be like, wow, man, this person is really training hard. Congratulations, he deserved it. He made his sacrifices. And most students won't do that, okay? It's the great ones that can do that, okay? So if you're a blue belt, realize that, you know, put your ego aside. And in jiu-jitsu, there's ups and downs. Sometimes, you know, family goes in the way. So you're talking about 10 years, sometimes career. You know, it's impossible to always be the one guy at the top, but you gotta push, 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 and never give up. I understand that the same thing that made this happen, where the white belt surpassed the blue belt, you can apply that again. And you now become working your mental toughness and surpass the person. Do not make excuses. Do not try to blame your instructors, you know? You know what I'm saying? Really be sincere with yourself and find out why was it that you're not achieving certain goals. Maybe you're training 5 days a week. That's a lot, okay? But if the other guy's training 15 times a week, you know, and you're only training 5 times a week, even if 5 times a week is more than standards, listen, he's raising the standards. You either keep up with the standards or you move up out of the way so that the other person can pass. Do not try to blame it or stuff like that. High standards rock, okay? You should always be pushing for high standards, okay? Another scenario, competitor. Rivalry. You know, let's say you have a rivalry with somebody, you don't want to face them and stuff like that. Listen, nobody really cares, okay? At the end of the day, if you're a competitor, you should be concerned more about how many titles you have, okay? It's like Mike Tyson versus that guy Douglas, I think, beat him. Nobody cares about that guy. Mike Tyson is in history, okay? You want to be the guy who has all the titles. Who cares, if you lost one to a rival or something like that. You keep working towards your title because this is not important. You're putting energy into things that really don't matter. Never develop emotional rivals. Do not be an emotional fighter. Be a logical, tactical, task-oriented fighter, okay? And finally, if you're going to tournaments, and you just are a losing competitor, if you're going to tournament, you're a losing competitor, and you're like, man, and you just keep losing and you can't break to that level. Remember what I said in the beginning, okay? It's just a part of learning how not to do things. Evaluate, make sure you videotape your matches, learn from them, and fix. Listen, if you fix things, it's only going to be a matter of time until you make the jump. You have to go and fix it. And remember the definition of insanity. Do not come back and do the same things because you're not going to expect the same result. You're not going to receive different results. You're going to get exactly the same thing. Videotape, fix, draw a lot, okay? Ask your coaches and mentors for help, and there you have it, okay? Dealing with defeat can be easy if you really rewire your brain and you remind yourself of these rules, okay? I'll talk to you guys next time. Roberto Torres, being engineer for the Underground Jiu-Jitsu Lab.